All right, so I stumbled across this We the Free or Free People kind of thermal top. I pass on most Free People at the bins just because most of it won't get more than, $10 to $20. But I typically do fairly well with the thermals, more getting in that range of $20 to $30. I really like the gold buttons on that, so I decided to grab it. Here's a pair of jeans that I found. This is by the brand Vince. This is not a brand I do particularly well with, but the advantage of these jeans is they had the style number, or style name rather, written on the jeans. So I was able to look them up, and it looks like I should be able to get about 25, maybe 30 for these. And my goal this day at the bins was to not bring home anything that I wouldn't be able to get $25 for. So here's an Athleta top, tank top that I passed on as well, just like that first Athleta top. It's only a brand that I pick up if it's a really great item. Here's a Free People skirt that, Free People, it can be fun to pick up at times, but a skirt like this, I already know will only get me about, $12 to $15 at best. So if this were a size 12 or something larger, I may have grabbed it, but not worth it for me. All right, so I spotted these pair of jeans. They were J. Crew jeans, which isn't really that exciting of a brand, but it is a brand that I keep an eye out for the style or the year. This actually had the material tag cut out, so I couldn't see the year it was made, but based off of the style, it definitely looked like it was a more recent style, more recent tag. You could see the denim was slightly different color on the sides with almost a subtle stripe, light distressing, a straight leg. So I decided to look these up, the vintage straight, and it looks like I should be able to get about 25, maybe 30 for those. So I grabbed them. So I was trying to get as much on camera as possible, but I did pick up a few things before I started filming. These pair of UGG slippers. They're not in the best condition, but I'm gonna run them through the wash and see if I can clean them up a little bit, and maybe get about 25, maybe 30 for them. This is a hat that unfortunately I tried on. It's a size large. It's a really cute hat. Definitely needed a lint roll, but I think I'm gonna wear it a couple times before I sell it. I should be able to get about 25 for it when I decide to sell it. And here I am racing over to the new shoe bins. I do fairly well at this location with shoes. So here I am with the chaos. One of the reasons I wanted to film this location again was because my last thrift with me at this location, a lot of people seem to think it was very chill and relaxed. And while things have calmed down since COVID started, things are actually picking up again with the chaos. So, the bins is not for everyone. I actually enjoy the thrill of the hunt and a little bit of the chaos. Most people are pretty respectful, but here you can see I threw some Reebok CrossFit shoes. They were just demolished, so they weren't worth grabbing. Here's a pair of Tory Burch wedges. I was pretty excited. I grabbed them initially, but you'll see the wear a little bit later. Here's a pair of Birkenstocks. I don't mind picking up thrashed Birkenstocks, but these just definitely were more thrashed than I was comfortable with. But yeah, you can see I'm wearing Birkenstocks, so I'm like, should I keep these for myself? But I ended up throwing those back. Here are some Allbirds. They're men's, and they are a pretty, they're the wool runners, so they're pretty classic style. I decided to grab those. I should be able to get about 30, 35 for those, which is not a bad deal. Here's a pair of Sam Edelman boots that I've sold before. The style is called the Penny. It's kind of one of their classic riding boot styles. And while it's not in the best condition, they're still wearable, a size 8.5. And I decided I should still be able to get about 25 to 30 for these, even in imperfect condition. So I grabbed those. Here's a pair of boots that I was kind of thinking I'll throw back, but they're Jack Rogers. They are a olive green and they're my size. So I thought, well, I'll wear them a few times because I really love green. If you watch this channel, you know that. Here are those Tory Burch that I spotted earlier, and while I don't mind picking up some Tory Burch with some wear, these were missing some components on one of the heels and just not fixable, so I threw those back. I do not pick up a lot of children's items, but I spotted these cowboy boots, and I think the brand is Justin's, kind of a common cowboy boot brand. The bottoms look decent, but the wear on the toes was significant, not worth it. So I decided to throw those back. So my favorite style of flip-flops is the brand Rainbow. These aren't in perfect condition, but I wear these all the time in black. I don't have a pair in brown. They were about my size, so I grabbed them for myself. Here's a top by the brand Sol Angeles or Angelis. And when I first started reselling, would occasionally pick up this brand and it did okay. These days, I almost always pass on it. If I pick it up, I really have to look up the style. So here's just an image of the back room that I just wanted to grab just to show just how much product these locations are dealing with. There is so much to go around for all of us. And I think the bins is a great space to shop if you are comfortable in the environment. Here's a handbag I found, and well, the brand looked like it may do okay. It's sold at Nordstrom Rack. The wear was just too significant and I didn't feel like putting in any work or dealing with it, so I decided to throw that back. One thing I'm always keeping an eye out for is Jeep gear. I drive a Jeep. I love the culture, and I saw this bag. I thought it was kind of a cool little travel bag, but I do not need another bag to save my life, so I left it behind. If it were in better condition, I may have grabbed it, but in the meantime, I did spot these overalls. I think actually my mom spotted these. Now, this brand, Cheap Monday, I believe it's a Swedish brand. I've sold quite a few times, and I think it used to do a little bit better when I first started selling it. But it's a pair of skinny, kind of slightly distressed, more of a faded black style of overalls, a little trendier. I should be able to get about $25 to $35 for these, and so I decided to grab those. One of my favorite bread and butter brands is the brand Logo. Lori Goldstein. Is that who it is? Anyways, this was a size XL, this really beautiful kind of blue teal color. It had this 3/4 length sleeve shirt underneath, and then attached was this sleeveless cardigan with this kind of floral overlay on it. It did have a tag, kind of a new without original price tag on it. And the only flaw was the shoulder stitching on one side to kind of keep them together was loose on one side, but I think it's supposed to be cut off so that you can kind of wear them separately if you want. I decided to grab it. I should be able to get about $25 for this. I just think it's a great style, and the flaw on it isn't actually really a flaw. I did note it in my listing, and yeah. So back to some of the hard good bins. I was just walking around aimlessly and I spotted these pair of boots. These are a steel toe pair of boots, military style. And while the condition wasn't perfect on the toes, I did look up comps. And I weighed these. They were going to cost me about $8, but it looks like I should be able to get it somewhere about $50, maybe up to $60 for these. Some in better condition are selling more in the $80 to $100 range, and they're just a really great quality boot. So I decided to grab those even at that higher, weight or price point. Here's a Dolan Left Coast Collection blouse. This is an Anthropologie brand. Size XL, I believe is what it said, and really loved the style, but there was a significant stain on there. Not surprising with a cream-colored item at the bins, but yeah, a little bit of a bummer. It probably would have only gotten me about $20, $25, but the size would have been the reason I picked it up. And to be honest, we actually left to go grab lunch. They weren't rolling out bins as often as we liked. So here we are rolling to the cash registers, the first round with my small little stash. This location, you have to kind of throw your stuff in these cardboard bin type things to weigh. And yeah, very reasonable rates. All right, back from lunch, and they rolled out some new shoe bins, so I immediately started there. Here are a pair of Coach heels. They actually have the name of the heels on the inside, so it's easy to look up, and I should be able to get about $30 to $35 for those, even with some light signs of wear. These are a pair of Donald Pliner heels, which I thought were really adorable. I don't have much luck with this brand, and even though I thought the style was cute, I decided to leave those behind just because I knew they wouldn't move quick or probably for much money. But the brand retails for quite a bit. It's another Anthropologie top. This is a more recent label where they actually put Anthropologie on the tag with cloth and stone. This is a size XL. chambray tank top. And while it will probably only get me about $20, I will pick up Anthropologie items that are larger sizes because they tend to move a little quicker for me, which is great. So I grabbed that. Here is a set of bibs. This is by the brand Pearl Izumi. If you know me, you know I used to be a cyclist. I still own a bike and I still ride for fun, but I used to do a lot of century rides and triathlons, and so I own a lot of cycling bibs, and yeah, they can actually do fairly well if they're in decent condition. Those were in bad condition, so I decided to leave those behind. But definitely some cycling brands do better than others. Pearl Izumi is on the lower end, so they really have to be in great condition for me to pick up this brand. And just for reference, this area, this padded area on the seat, that's called the chamois, and that's definitely the area you want to make sure is in good condition. So here we are, headed over to some hard good bins. I don't spend too much time when I'm filming in this area, but they occasionally have shoes and some bags in here, and I do occasionally pick up hard goods, so I thought I would give it a look, but it is pretty chaotic, this location. A lot of shoppers really love the hard goods here, so I just wanted to get a little footage for you. So one of the hardest things for me being on YouTube is not everyone likes me shopping or sharing bins locations, and the guys standing next to me decided to share with the employees that I was filming, and so they did ask me to stop, so I don't have too much footage for the rest of the day. But I do like sharing this because so many people are curious as to what it's like. This is not the craziest day. It's actually mellowed out since COVID, but a lot of people watch my videos, and this does not encourage them to go to these locations. These are all public locations, and I have been going for a long time, and I have not noticed an increase, but definitely some of the regulars do not like me being there. So this is just my last basket full before I checked out. Again, I was trying to be a little bit low-key at this point. Here's a mug for my own personal collection. I used to live in San Francisco, so I really enjoy that kind of stuff. Here's a Harley Davidson bag. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I bought some new leather conditioner I'm going to try out, so hopefully I should be able to get about 30, maybe 35, maybe 40 for that. I need to look up more comps. Here's a pair of UGG shoes I got. These actually look like I should be able to get maybe around 35. They're in pretty good condition, and the styles seem to do okay. This was one of my most exciting finds of the day, a pair of harness boots from Fry. Really excited about these. They also need to be cleaned up a little bit, so I'll be listing these very soon, but I was really excited about that. Lastly, these boots are the brand maybe Pahar, Canada. Looks like I should be able to get about $50 or $60 for these, so I was pretty excited about that pickup as well.